to be honest, we're playing Sheffield United at the perfect time, dude. Like, we're bringing Paul Pogba and Marcus Rashford back in combination with Bruno. Like, we are so much better off for these fixtures than we were before COVID. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another East of Stretford podcast. And we talk all things Manchester United on this channel. So if you like that shit, make sure to subscribe. What up, boys? Vishnu, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing good, bro. Karthik, how you doing?
Doing good, man. The lads are back in training, so that's awesome. Fuck yeah.
Yes,
Good
dude.
to see them social distancing and training. Fucking weird, but it's but yeah, it's a good start, man. It's a good start. Good to see things getting back. Yeah.
You know what the weirdest thing about seeing teams back in training is? Like, the people with such fucking different hair. Like, Ashley Young has hair. Kante has N'Golo Kante has
Bro,
hair, dude.
Ashley Young looks fucking weird. Like, I don't think he didn't come out of the quarantine looking better. Like, he just yeah. I don't know. He needs to shave his head. I mean,
Daniel
Yeah,
James
no,
as well. Daniel James looks more like a kid again.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
dude,
I
his
didn't-
hair is long as
I
fuck.
didn't know this. Oh, shit.
Yeah, but other than people's hair, I think we talk a lot about hair on this channel, dude. Like,
That's
a
true.
lot.
Actually,
Too
oh
much.
fuck, it's self-obsessed fucks. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay, but you know
Yeah.
what? The Premier League looks like it's inching back. Recent news is they've done 2 batches of testing, and in those batches, the first had 6 test positive for the coronavirus. One of them was Adrian Mariappa, who said he didn't even know he had the coronavirus, so that was weird. And in this new batch that just came out, 2 tested positive, 1 was from Bournemouth. So I think a total of 8 is not really going to slow down the Premier League's plans too much. And I think, slowly they're going to get approval for contactless training in the next 2 weeks. So I think by the end of June, from what I'm hearing from different podcasts and reading up on different places, it looks like the Premier League could be back. But there's still a lot of questions to be answered. But we're going to make the assumption in this episode, the Premier League is back, and all competitions come back. And we're going to talk about how we think United can fare and what's like the realistic expectations for us this season. So Karthik, first off, talk about right before we moved into this lockdown. Where were we? How were we doing? How was our form, man?
I think we definitely went out on a high. We were on a 12-game unbeaten streak. I don't think we've lost since Jan. I think if I'm right. But yeah, dude, I mean, the momentum was great. It was sad that we had to sort of go out on a high. So I think the whole point right now is coming back. I'm sure every team, every player is struggling. I mean, we sort of saw the Bundesliga games. We can see that players are still trying to get back into, really playing like football like the way they used to. So I think that's going to take some time. I mean, there's still no contact training, and it's weird to be training. You can't really go into a game without having any previous no contact training. I mean, it's football at the end of the day. So yeah, dude. So you kind of, I think realistically, like we just hopefully we can carry on the momentum where we left off at, or at least like I know coming back our first game is Spurs, followed by Sheffield, I think. So yeah, these are 2 big games that'll definitely decide whether we get into the top 4 or not. And yeah, I think our goal right now realistically should just be to get into the top 4, and I think that is extremely achievable. Like, I don't see why not, why that should be a problem. So yeah, that's where I stand.
Yeah, Vishnu, what do you think, man? Like Karthik is saying, we're in the fight for the top 4. We have 2 big fixtures coming up. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, momentum is in our side. Whether or not we've stopped for like a couple, 2-3 months, we've been on a very good streak. We've got 2 big names that are returning back into our main team, Paul Pogba and Marcus Rashford, who both should be fully fit by the time the Premier League restarts. Talking about the Premier League, we're just 3 points behind Chelsea now. and we've been really pushing it. We've reduced the deficit by a huge margin over the weeks before the halt. And we've only got like Wolves and Sheffield to be wary about because they're just on our tail. They've got a game in hand. But I think that like the way we've played and with Bruno in the lineup now as well, like there's been like the missing piece of the puzzle has been like fixed. And I think there's no reason for us to like, surge ahead and maybe.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. The momentum thing is huge because Chelsea, for the last like 10 games, they've been getting so many draws. Like, they haven't necessarily been playing bad, but they just never finish off a team. It always ends up that in the 70th minute, I remember in the Bournemouth game when Bournemouth was still playing super shit, they still ended up drawing the game. So Chelsea doesn't have great momentum. N'Golo Kante doesn't even know if he can play because I think he's, because of some family history, he's more at risk with COVID. So he's not exactly fully comfortable. And then, so that's Chelsea, who's not in the greatest of form. Tottenham, like, we shit on Jose enough. Like, Tottenham are complete fucked. Aurier is off getting haircuts, like getting shit on all the time. Like, I half their team hasn't been renewed on a new contract yet. Kane is speculation. So I'm not scared of Tottenham. And to be honest, we're playing Sheffield United at the perfect time, dude. Like, we're bringing Paul Pogba and Marcus Rashford back in combination with Bruno. Like, we are so much better off for these fixtures than we were before COVID. Like, so much better off. So I think, from the Premier League perspective, I think, our hot momentum, we've got in all of our players. We've got a full squad. We should expect to finish top 4. And I think anything less, wouldn't be, a good end to this season.
Yeah, dude. It's just a matter of mentality right now, man. I mean, I think right now especially when the players come back and stuff, I think they need to probably go in the mindset that because we've been winning, I hope we can ride on that confidence that the players still remember that and are still somehow like still tuned in with the fact that they have to get out there and win every game if possible from here onwards. So it's honestly, I think it's a matter of mentality and less about quality now, because I think that's the case with any team as well. If you can come back and just try and finish off the season, because it's always hard to get back into it, especially after such a long break. So it's if we have a strong mentality, bro, I think it's more than an achievable goal to finish in the top 4. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. So I think, we should definitely be expecting to finish in the top 4. Our last 3 games were fucking Man City, fucking Lask, and fucking some other team that I'm forgetting off the top of my head right now.
Derby County.
Derby County, right. So we have other competitions that we're fighting for too. We have the Europa League and we have the FA Cup. But I want to start with the Europa League. It's the round of 16. There are several good teams still in it. Inter Milan, Olympiacos, Roma, Sevilla. So Vishnu, like, what do you think, man? Do you think that should be our focus, or should we be looking to the Premier League to get into the Champions League?
I think that it's just a matter of primarily we should always be looking at the best place finish in the Premier League, which I think we are on par right now. We've been doing really well, like you mentioned. I mean, it never hurts to go ahead and, win maybe 1 or 2 tournaments in Ole's first year as permanent manager. So I know that Europa League is also of high importance for us because, you never know how these fixtures might turn out. Because considering the fact that there's been like a break, there might be a shorter gap between fixtures. You might even play like, World Cup style and stuff like that, So a lot of players might have to be rested and stuff like that. So you never know how these fatigue might be an issue in the Premier League now. And I think we've handled it pretty well. And we still are in the search for that number 4 spot. But I think it'll be great addition to at least go in the, final 8s and then like, the quarterfinals and the semifinals of the Europa, just to gain a bit more confidence. Ole's been rotating his players really well. And I think now that we've got a settled midfield as well, I see no reason why we can't challenge the likes of Inter Milan, Sevilla, Wolves, Roma, for that prestigious Europa that we won in 2017. Fun fact, today, 3 years ago. We've just made an Instagram post. Check that out whenever you can. Europa is still, it's a European championship. It's still great to win a European championship in your first year as a permanent manager. I think Ole has the caliber to match that. And who knows, man? Like, we don't know when it's going to restart either. So we might have a gap between then and we don't know how it's going to be scheduled in, when they're going to be playing those games and stuff like that. And so we'll just have to wait and see.
Karthik, what do you think, man? You think this Europa League with Inter Milan and stuff, you think we got a chance?
Yeah, dude, I think, like I said, I think both of this is extremely achievable, like finishing top 4 and hopefully winning some silverware this season. And I think Ollie definitely deserves some silverware just to like justify what he's been doing with us so far, for sure. But yeah, dude, I really think, like, even realistically, like, I'm not being too idealistic, but I feel like we can finish in the top 4 and still easily be a top contender for the Europa League. So, considering right now as well that we have more of a depth in our squad, especially now that Pogba and Rashford is back and will hopefully be back. So it's not like we have a lack of quality in our team anymore. And like Vishnu said, we have those missing pieces of the puzzles sort of filled in now. So I think that's great, man. I think it is. I think we can win the fucking Europa League and come and finish in the top 4. Like, I don't think that's gonna be
And the
an issue.
FA Cup, dude.
Yeah.
Win the fucking treble, dude.
Win the treble, yeah, win the treble. Fuck yeah, not a Mourinho treble, but like a hopefully a more respectable treble. But yeah, dude, fuck yeah, like FA Cup as well, yes. But I think I won't be too bummed out if we don't. FA Cup, I think, is an easier competition than the Europa League, personally.
But it just doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean
exactly.
anything if we win the FA Cup.
Yeah. So
and I
don't
just
mind
need
if we don't go too far there.
Yeah, I think we just need to get into the Champions League next year, because then we can bring in someone like a Jadon Sancho, and then again bringing in Jadon Sancho. But if we have
every episode, just
you have to, dude.
Like, fucking
he has to come, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck. I watched him in that. I watched him in that his recent game. Who did Dortmund play yesterday?
Yesterday? I don't know. Wait,
yeah,
or Schalke?
Not Schalke. I don't think Schalke.
They played Wolfsburg yesterday.
Wolfsburg, yeah. So he came on, and he was good as fuck. Like in 20 minutes, he had little touches and little moves, and it's like, I don't know. It just made me want him more. So yeah, okay, way off topic.
Yeah,
but I think
Sancho, fucking Sancho.
Yeah, fucking Sancho, dude. But I think the FA Cup, I could give less of a fuck, dude, to be honest. And we're already through to the next round in the Europa League. So in terms of resting people, I think we're so much better off than all other teams. We don't have to worry about our Europa League second round. FA Cup, if we don't win, who gives a fuck? And we have our whole squad back. So I think, if we were to do all three, get into the top 4, win the Europa League and the FA Cup, I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think it'll happen. But I think we will definitely make the top 4 in the Premier League. It just makes sense at this point.
And that should be our primary focus.
Yeah, agreed, man. Like my prediction is still in cards here. We're gonna beat Leicester in the final game of our season, and then get that number 4 spot on that day.
It's gonna be a dramatic finish.
Dude, is number 3 possible? Like, how far ahead are Leicester than us? I don't even fucking know. I'm gonna check right now. They are 8 points ahead of us.
Yeah, it's not, it's not possible. I think we can still, but it's a bit unrealistic considering, like,
how many
Leicester
games
do have
we
a
have
little
left?
bit. 9 games to go, and we do play Leicester in our final game. So you never know if we narrow it down to like 5 points or 3 points, and then get a big thumping 3-0, 4-0 win. That would be the surprise of the season, wouldn't it? Man United to 3rd place from no fucking where.
Dude, we'd have to get it down to 2 because they are fucking double our goal difference. God damn, I didn't know they were that good. So I think third is, probably out of the possibility, but I think 4th is very big and a very, very likely that we can actually do it. But I think, Again, another short and sweet little podcast for y'all. A little thought piece on the rest of the season. Or you guys have anything to say before we close up?
Sancho.
Sancho.
We'll just keep like, just hinting at Sancho every episode.
Dude, we're putting it out into the universe and it's going to come back.
We have to keep putting pressure, dude, as fans. We have to keep pushing this. Like, this has to happen.
What if he comes and he's dog shit?
Bro, that's completely bad. Then we'll just be fans again, be like, oh, bro, well, shit.
No, it's funny you mentioned it because I never thought of that. Like, all this time, I'm just like, we've just been super high expectations, and what if he is actually dog shit?
He's only 20, man. Like,
you
never know.
Yeah, what if, like, Daniel James, like, has the season of the year next year, and then just
no chance.
Puts all right, let's stop our fantasies there.
Okay, let's fucking stop.
This is getting out of hand now. Daniel James here, wow.
Dude, Daniel James. There's many interesting facts about Daniel James I didn't know, but we'll do that in another fucking video, or else this go very long. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this podcast. Let us know what you think is going to be the end of Man United season. Are we going to finish top 4? Are we going to win the Europa League? Is Pogba and Bruno going to be a midfield that works for us? Let us know your thoughts below. And stay tuned for more podcasts coming at you quickly. Peace out, guys.